Good morning, gang. David Guppel, Thinker Farmer here. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and the last few days I've been thinking about a corollary to Valentine's Day, and I'm going to tie it into farming. So this is an awkward video, but I think there's a lot to share here, so I'm going to go with it. The word that comes to mind when everyone thinks of Valentine's Day is love. Love is something that almost everyone wants out of life, and it's easy to understand who doesn't want to be loved. And a lot of people might think there's nothing more important in life than loving other people and knowing that you are loved. And well, I agree that that is one of the most important things. I want to give a corollary to it that is often overlooked and sometimes misunderstood, because there is something that is arguably much more foundational to making life work, whether we're talking about businesses, whether we're talking about families, marriage relationships, friend relationships. There's something that's even more foundational than love. And it's this important word called trust. Reality is, if someone loves you, but in reality you can't trust them, their love is not going to be worth that much. Now, how does that tie into farming? Because this is a farm channel. Well, you might think, as you're seeking to build your farm business, that getting customers and people to like you is the most important thing. Trying to be the popular guy, the person that everyone wants. You might end up committing to do certain things for people that you otherwise wouldn't, simply because you want people to love you, customers to love you and like you, and build your business over time. Well, that can turn into a trap pretty quickly when you overcommit yourself or do things that you really aren't that good at doing or don't really want to do, that aren't true to your identity and who you are as a farmer. And the thing about it is, as I've thought about this, there's a verse in the Bible. It's in the book of Proverbs, which is the book of wisdom in the Bible. It's in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 1. It says, "A good name is better than great riches, and loving favor than choice silver." And what that verse means is that however precious wealth is and other things, having a good name is more important than anything else. And how do you get a good name? How can you have a name where somebody says the name David Guppold, or you name the person, whoever it is in your mind you're thinking of? That person, how do you get a good name? Is it by that person loving other people? Well, maybe, but there's something more foundational. It's trust. People say, I know that person. I know he's going to be dependable, he's reliable. I know who he is, and they can trust who you are. If you love somebody and they love you, but you can't really trust them to be faithful and honest with you, what's that really worth? What is the love in the relationship really worth? For that matter, as a farm business, if customers love you but they can't rely on you or depend on you, what's that really worth? There's a saying, 100 trusts are broken on one trade. What that means is all it takes is one bad transaction, one bad business decision to ruin 100 good ones. That means if you've served a customer well, taken good care of them 100 times, and then you commit to do something for them, or you're supposed to deliver on something and then you fall through and you don't deliver, you've just broken that relationship. And that's why it's so important to be a man of your word. and to, even though you want people to appreciate you and love you, and you want to serve them in different ways, you have to beware of overcommitting. You have to know first and foremost that honesty, that is the basis of trust, is what matters more. And so that's why on my YouTube channel, I end every episode, or almost every episode, by saying, keep it real. What I'm concerned about more than anything else with starting a YouTube channel is that people will see me doing videos, they'll see only what I show in the videos, and I'm not going to give you a gloom and doom perspective on farming. I want you to be encouraged to farm. And so I'm concerned I'm going to create an artificial environment through the YouTube channel, and people aren't going to see things for what they are. I have bad days. There are tough things that happen on the farm. This has to be genuine. It has to be real. If it isn't that, then ultimately you can't trust me. That's why sincerity is so important. I had a rather humorous situation where I inadvertently put gasoline in a diesel truck, and it was very embarrassing for me. And as soon as it happened, there was a brief moment in my mind when I said, you know, you could go to a mechanic store, pump all the gas out, and then fill it up with diesel, and you could go on down the road, everything would be fine. And then I said, no, I can't do that. This is somebody else's truck. They need to be able to trust me, and that means anything that happened to their machine, I have to open up and tell them about it. I can't hide things from them, even things that I normally could take care of. And so openness, communication, and genuineness are worth far more than somebody that is likable. And in conclusion, I have a couple thoughts for people out there as you're seeking to build trust in your farm business with customers, with people you work with in your business, or in any relationship for that matter. I mean, I realized yesterday was Valentine's Day. I want to say two things. Number one is you're seeking to build trust. Say less, not more. What that will do is make it easier for you to keep whatever you do say. A person of few words is not stupid. They just know that they need to focus and say only the things that really matter. It's easy to turn into a chatterbox. But if you say less things, you're less likely to let something slip out and overcommit to something you can't do. And then people know when he says, I'm going to do this, they know you don't say that all that much, and so they know that you are long on action and short on words. Another thing is think twice before you speak. Now, I'm not saying you need to clam up and not tell people what you're thinking, but before you speak, it's especially if you're angry or you're heated, it's often good to say, wait a minute, is this the right thing to say? Is there a better way to say it? And if you think twice, what that usually means is that you're going to be quick to listen to other people and slow to speak. And that is just a wise way to live your life. Generally, communication is more about listening to the other person than it is about running your mouth. And all of us can learn from that. Anyway, gang, think about it. Trust is the most important. I'm going to write this at the top of the screen. Trust is your farm's greatest asset. If people can trust you, ultimately, you will build a great name, and a name is foundational to marketing and good business relationships and everything else that makes the world go around. Blessings for the journey, gang, and keep it real.